Well, there you are, Pisces. It's November 2020. I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au. Welcome if you're new. I'm just going to fly through 5 or 6 minutes of astrological bits and pieces related to your sun sign of Pisces, or if you know your lunar sign or your rising sign, you can apply this equally to that. Some big things have been happening. A nice change for you on the 4th, early in the month, when Mercury, which has been retrograde for a while, goes back into its forward motion. If your partners have been feeling a little bit weird, not communicating the way they should be, if you've been biting your tongue, that's about to improve. You'll be pleased to note. The other retrograde planet is Mars, and that's in your second house, ruling the second house of finance. It is also, according to Hindu Vedic astrologers, the house of Vak. Vak, you like that? Vak. It sounds like a crow, but it actually means speech, power of speech. The tongue and the throat have some chakras. We know about the throat chakra. This is called the Vishuddha chakra, but the tongue also has some power and some nerves, and if they're activated, and if you're feeling creative sometimes and lucky, then the words just flow and you're able to impact people with the power of your speech. And that's what's happening right now. So for you, Mars is actually quite a good planet, ruling your second house and ninth house of good fortune and finance. So you should see an acceleration and an improvement in those areas, and you should use your speech for good. You may actually be able to damage others with your speech. There is so much power in Mars in the second house that sometimes in your passion to convey an idea or your beliefs, because it rules the ninth house of beliefs as well for you, then you may sort of cross the line and step over the boundaries. You may be so engrossed and passionate about what you're saying, believing so much in what you do, that you can actually alienate people. So you need to be a little bit careful about how you approach your communications, your relationships this month, especially because of that Mercury. Now, that goes direct or into its forward motion on the 14th. And on the 15th, just after Mercury moves into your ninth house on the 11th, we see a new moon taking place in that ninth house. Ninth house is a lucky house. It's the house of good fortune. It's one of the karma houses. It has to do with education, expansion of the higher mind, long journeys, the list goes on. But generally, in a nutshell, it's very lucky. You will have Mercury and the Sun both transiting this part of your horoscope. The Sun is not the best point to have there, but fortunately that moves out of there into your 10th house on the 22nd of November. And that is a very, very powerful transit, because the Sun, as it moves into the 10th house, which is the point of the heavens directly over above, in relation to the position of the Sun when you were born, the 10th house actually has what's called Digbala, or directional strength. Actually, the southern direction is lucky for you. If you want to travel south, you can re-energize yourself by moving in that direction. It gives you a taste of success. There can be some good news as far as your work is concerned. Your self-esteem takes a lift, like a J-curve lift is what I'm talking about. So it's all really, really good stuff. And I would recommend you don't take holidays early, because you can actually capitalize on this very, very potent and powerful transit. As I said, on the 14th, Mars goes direct. If for some reason you've had some confusion or been misguided financially, you've had some doubts about your earning capacity, money that's owed to you, then things can start to clear up around the middle of the month. There's another couple of things there. Talking about your ninth house, Venus is moving pretty quickly. Although it's early in the sign in Libra as the month commences. Let me get my eyes on. Oh, there you are. Venus moves to Scorpio on the 21st. That's interesting, because that happens just as the Sun moves out of that ninth house into your career sector, and Venus moving into the place of luck. Now, Venus and the Sun will together occupy your ninth house at that time. And that is not particularly good for older male members of your family. Vedic astrologers call the ninth house the father. Western astrologers call the 10th house the father. In any case, if we take the 10th house as the father, the position of Venus and Sun in the 12th house to the 10th, that's the ninth house, may indicate some health problems arising for that person. Employers also, if you've got a male employer in particular, that person may suffer some problem with their reputation, with their health, or with their personal affairs, and you may have to be there as a source of support for that. The final aspect I want to talk about is that very, very important, the eclipses, the new moon and the eclipse. You've got a new moon there in the sign of Scorpio, your ninth house luck, and then you've got the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, full moon lunar eclipse taking place there in the third house of your horoscope. So this is interesting. The moon is a very, very important planet for you because it is the ruler of your fifth house. That has a lot to do with your past karma. And this is an emotional planet, so I think it's going to have some relevance in terms of joining the dots with children, lovers, and your own creative self. When an eclipse takes place, it's usually going to impact the sort of things that the moon rules. And because that's your emotions, it takes place very close to the planet Uranus, which is very, very disruptive. This can release a lot of energy. If you hang in there and just try to look at what's going on objectively, you're going to gain a great deal of insight into yourself. And you're going to be able to understand your position in the present time based upon where you've come from. And that's going to help direct and reorient you to where it is you should be, what your life purpose is. It's a very, very important past karmic point. And I think that's a significant eclipse taking place there on the 30th of November in your... Is that the third house? You know what? I think I've made an error there. It's actually going to take place in your fourth house. So that's an important and significant point. And that has to do more with your domestic sphere, your family life, because it's going to be very near to the nodes, which are the karmic factors. And as I said, whenever this karmic factor is involved, has a lot to do with your past and how you process that and how you move forward in your life. So very, very big factor there for you. Hope that's helped. Look forward to your company next month. In the meantime, don't forget to check out your astrology for the day, the week, the month and the year at astrology.com.au, and that will fill in all of the gaps here that I haven't actually mentioned in the reading. Look forward to your company next month. Take care now. Bye-bye.